Hello, this is the Bill Mason Show. This is March the 24th, 2020, and we have an explosive show for you tonight. How you doing, Bill?
Doing well. I have not seen any Humvees outside my window yet.
Oh, but they're coming.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah, we have some National Guard movements that just pulled into New York. We're going to show that first. Let's go ahead and see that right now, okay?
Yeah, they're there to help.
There you go. Just like the movies. They're
Okay.
coming in to save us.
So, yeah. Um, I guess we'll see what the future holds.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of news today. I mean, from the bailout stimulus to more deaths in Italy and the United States.
Yeah, Italy
Um,
is skyrocketing, and it seems like as we test more, our positives go up. So,
yeah, it's not looking good. So let's look at the map. Look at this map here. Of course, everybody's using our map now.
yep, it's
So
everywhere.
it is. So I mean, it's all sea of red. I mean,
Yeah,
when we first played this 2 months ago, there's like one dot over here in China, and that
yeah.
was it.
Yeah, South America was blank. Africa was blank. The United States had one dot. Europe had one dot.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the deaths. Now, Italy was crushed again today. They have
Yeah,
today. I mean, for the total, they have 6,820 deaths. China only has 3,200. Of
right.
course, we know for a fact that's a lie. So we're figuring around over 200,000 people dead there,
At least.
at least. So 6,800. United States has 706.
Yeah,
So that's going way up.
I think even we got 100 today from what I looked at.
Yeah,
95.
yeah. Just let's take a look at this other map here. We had a total of 136 today.
Wow.
We got to figure out why World O meters has a different death 689 compared to the John Hopkins, which has 706. If you would let the researcher Sierra know, find out why the two are different.
Yeah, I think actually this one, the John Hopkins, is a compilation of the World Health Organization, the CDC, and I think the EU Board of Health Ministry or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, and there's a yeah, DXY. I don't know who that is.
I don't know either.
We had to look that up. But anyway, so 706 for the total for the United States. Spain has 2,808 deaths. Spain is really racking it up.
Yeah,
Let me see what Spain did today. Spain did 497
in one day.
in one day.
Wow.
So it's not looking good. So there's two strains out there, Bill. There's the S strain and the L strain.
Yeah.
The S strain is milder. It doesn't spread as much to other people. And then there's the L strain, which is more violent, more aggressive, and more deadly.
Right. And I think the S strain is what they said Rand Paul had, where it was no symptoms at all. He didn't even have a cough.
Hmm.
And Rand Paul tested positive because he was near someone else and they just wanted to test him.
Right.
But I mean, to have zero symptoms in one strain and be able to spread it is kind of scary.
It is. And the bad thing about it is when you can get the L strain on top of the S strain.
Right. I saw that.
Yeah, so when the L strain comes around and gets you,
Yeah.
That's when you really hits you and you die.
Right. There's people. I see a lot of people on Twitter now that are asthmatics
Mm.
that are complaining that they have minor coughs and congestion, and they want to be tested, and they're worried because they're asthmatics that they have less of a response time, and they're still being told like I was, go home, hydrate, and take your temperature. So
Right. Yeah. Only if it get real severe, they'll start testing you.
yeah,
But I don't know
those
how.
tests are like gold.
Yeah, I don't know how you can go to a drive-through if you're like in a bed sick. I'm about to die. How you can
Yeah,
get to a drive-through?
you have to have somebody drive you,
Right.
and somebody
Right.
else who's willing to risk getting whatever you have.
That's true. All right. So we had the National Guard into New York. The other night we showed Chicago National Guard. Let's play that real quick again, okay?
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay, go.
Sears Tower in the background.
It's earlier today.
Dude, look at how many Hummers there are. What are you talking about? This is crazy, dude.
It's going down.
Oh, it's going down. That's it.
Oh, it's going down.
Yeah, man. And California's actually got heavy movements too, but they have such a huge presence in California.
Right.
There's so many aspects of the National Guard that are there already.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Chicago, you saw how they had to use trains to move that amount, and I think the trains also doesn't spook middle America as like they would be driving through Main Street America,
That's
like
true.
they had to drive through Manhattan. There's
Yeah.
no way to hide that. Your intention, the horse is out of the barn
That's,
once you drive into Manhattan with those trucks.
that is true. So a lot going on. Trump's saying that he might end the lockdown sometime around Easter. What do you think?
Yeah,
What's your thoughts about that?
That's what I heard. I mean, I also heard that he was teetering on a total shutdown, but Congress not being able to agree on some sort of individual citizen stimulus. Everybody understood that, the big corporations were going to get interest-free loans, and it wasn't going to be like a TARP, but the people were supposed to get money right away. And I think if Trump had that in his back pocket, if he knew that every family was going to get a few $1,000s, I think he would have been a little stricter maybe and locked things down, because he would have at least known that the citizenry out there had some money coming in towards them and maybe wouldn't, react so harshly to it. But I think he was walking on eggshells this whole time in this line between what the CDC's telling him about flattening the curve and what industry's telling him about the stock market and what the American people are telling them about the restaurant and hotel industry. I mean, that's a lot. You start to understand why presidents go gray in a year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's either we save a couple of million people,
right,
and not open the economy, or open the economy and then have more people dead.
Right.
It's one of those catch-22s because the people, the economy, if it collapses, you're going to have more dead because of poverty. You can't eat. I mean, we have to do something.
Well, I heard today on a radio show. A lot of guys are filling in for Rush because Rush Limbaugh's situation. He's going through like some treatments for cancer and stuff. So the guy that was filling in for him brought up a great point that the elderly are getting attacked actually on two fronts, because when the stock market tanks and you have somebody who's riding a 401k and they're literally maybe a year into their retirement and they watch 25, 35, 40 grand every day get sucked out of their 401k, that's just as bad. Some of the people they interviewed were saying, especially in Florida, this one guy in Florida was like, I think I'd rather go out and catch the virus than watch the Dow crash like this with my money tied up in it. So it's a twofold effect on the retirees, and you have Italy, who's basically being accused of using this crisis to fix their pension system. They're going to have hundreds of thousands of people that they don't have to pay. They're going to be upright again in their pension system.
We're not saving everybody over 65 or 60.
Yeah, they're not even putting them in an ICU bed. If you're, it's crazy. But
Yeah. It is crazy. So the world has gone bonkers. I was hoping we can just go back to 2019, but I don't think that's possible.
yeah, man, it's what a shift. 2020, man.
Yes. So we're going to show you a video of people gone. People just disappeared throughout the world. Let's play this right now.
Yeah.
There you are, where places are packed, now they're empty.
That's intense, man. I read a report in Epic Times that this could probably cost globally $89 trillion. And I'm wondering what comes after trillion. When you get to I don't even know. When you get to 99 trillion, what do you call it after that? Because I never thought in my lifetime I'd be dealing with those numbers.
Yeah, quadrillion.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then was it Google's 100 zeros, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
All right. All right.
The
Well,
economic impact is heavy.
so what's going on with the stimulus plan, Bill?
To me, from an outsider's view, of course, now I go on to Congress.gov and I read these things, and it is tedious, man. They know what they're doing. When they hide, so the Republicans are partly guilty by putting in money with little or no oversight. And I kind of understand Mitch McConnell's point, because he said these are loans. So it's not like a TARP giveaway. The loans, it's an oversight because they're going to have to repay the loan. So that in itself is oversight. So that was his argument. The Democrats said, no, we want to be involved. We want to pick and choose each business based on merit and all this other crap. And they're like, well, that'll take years. That's crazy. Anybody who applies for a loan with a hardship gets like a no interest loan. Boom, you qualify. You're done. End of story. Democrats take it back and throw in everything on the farm. They every little idea they've ever had. They said this is the opportunity for us to throw in diversity mandates on boardrooms and to throw in airline what was it? Fuel consumption ratings and it was a dog pile of Green New Deal stuff, identity politics, gender issues. I mean, it was so stupid. So, I mean, these people are playing with the American economy like it's a guitar string. It's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a video of the five talking about just that, what you just mentioned. Let's take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, Dagan, I understand some criticism. You don't want a so-called bailout again, and it's not the fault of these industries. They didn't cause this recession. You're just kind of giving them liquidity so then they can keep employees instead of firing them, or give them access to capital in terms of loans so small businesses can stay afloat.
This isn't just Wall Street. This is far from it. These are the companies that all Americans work for. This is a large swath of the U.S. economy that has basically been put out of business overnight. They are suffering no fault of their own, just like individuals, just like the people who've been laid off, the millions of people who've been laid off. And to correct Juan, that $425 billion goes to the Treasury and acts as a backstop for lending at the Federal Reserve, which would total about $4 trillion. That's how you can leverage that amount of money. That's why this is critical. So while Congress is flailing and failing the American people and dithering and bickering, it's the nerds over at the Fed that stepped up today with a whatever it takes to rescue this economy. We are going all in to lending facilities to make sure corporations aren't insolvent. You know what happens if large corporations in this country are insolvent? We're talking about the Great Depression for the next decade. So leave it to the Federal Reserve. Oh, and by the way, just really quickly, the Fed is also planning to roll out a Main Street business lending program that will support lending to small and mid-sized businesses, but they need help from Congress to backstop that. So where are we? We're staring into the abyss because of those losers in Congress.
There you go, the losers. Is that Nancy Pelosi?
Seriously, that woman, she's in my top 3 of furious females, man. When she gets mad, you know it. Like there's no hiding it. It's coming out.
Yeah, she turns red, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And she is just like a fact spewing machine. But like what she was talking about is really the brick and mortar of the argument, that if even though they're big businesses, yes, it might be Hilton. Yes, it might be Marriott. It might be these cruise liners. It's an opportunity for them to take out these loans. And the fact that they're going to pay back the loans is the oversight. And if Carnival Cruise wants to use this to not only recoup their losses, but build another 2 boats, and if they think that's going to help them stay alive, maybe hire more people, in the long run, it works. And that's the Republicanism of the whole thing, is that it's like an insurance issue. When a tornado rips your roof off, well, you don't just fix the roof. You probably fix a few windows. You probably, upgrade the entire upstairs is what really happens because you have the money. So realistically, giving them low interest or no interest loans is a big part of this. That gives them access to improvements and lets them not only retain, but also rehire and then improve and hire more.
Exactly. It keeps the employment where it is, plus it hires more people.
Right. So, I mean, what better to do that? And then the Democrats' argument, it doesn't make sense. Their argument for including like collective bargaining agreement stuff with unions and diversity mandates in the boardroom and all that, it's just crazy. It has nothing to do with the stimulus. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, Ted Cruz went off today about that.
He's another one.
Yeah, about Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. Just take a listen to what he said.
Yeah.
Vote for Rahm Emanuel, President Obama's chief of staff. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Sadly, we're seeing the embodiment of that cynical approach right now. Because all the people out of jobs the Democrats are using to push, what are they pushing for? Changing the emission standards on airplanes. Mr. President, what the hell do the emission standards on airplanes have to do with thousands of people dying and millions of people out of work in the coronavirus epidemic? Don't treat this bill like a partisan Christmas list. And by the way, Republicans, we've got things we would like to advance too. Things I believe in deeply. You want to talk about what I'd like to do? I'd like to abolish the IRS. I've campaigned on that all over the country. I'm going to continue fighting for that. But, Mr. President, I'm not standing here with an amendment saying, as part of this emergency relief, let's abolish the IRS. There's a place for that political and policy discussion. The Democrats are pushing wind and solar tax credits. Mr. President, what in the hell does a windmill have to do with this crisis? Other than there's some Democratic lobbyists getting fat and rich, and they're willing to extort a crisis to try to advance their political agenda. Mandates on corporate board diversity. So these are Democrats that want to social engineer. Now listen, I actually have a lot of problems with corporate boards. I think we have far too many corporate boards that are docile and do what management wants. That's a serious problem. A lot of discussion about stock buybacks. I'll tell you what I get concerned about stock buybacks is when you have compensation agreements in place that the executives get rich if they get a short-term boost in share price. And it ends up hurting the shareholders. So I'd love to see actually more vigorous boards of directors that make sure that you're not creating incentives to gain the stock price. That's a reasonable question. But they want to mandate effectively quotas on boards of directors. Mr. President, what in the hell does that have to do with this crisis?
Yeah, he goes on, but he was hopping mad today.
Yeah, as he should be, because the things that they put in, the provisions that they put in, made zero sense to help the American people in a time of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
It was agenda-driven politics covered with a little bit of mayonnaise, lettuce, and tomato. It was ridiculous.
Right. This should be just for the virus problem only, not for anything else.
This is not the last time Congress is ever going to get together and try to make a law. This is just their opportunity that they chose to abuse, in my opinion.
Right, exactly. So we have Pelosi talking today too as well. Let's take a look and see what she said.
In the Take Responsibility for Workers and Families Act, we must be bold and forward-looking in our thinking. We must be swift and evidence-based in our actions, and we must be prayerful.
There she goes. That's pretty sad.
It's too honest. Like there's a saying that there's a little bit of honesty in all humor, and that is it. I mean, it feels to the middle American type person who is your 9-to-5er, your blue collar type, that these Democrats really are out of their minds.
They're crazy.
Like they have nothing on their plate left for Americans. It's ridiculous.
Well, we have another Democrat talking in the bathtub. Want to take a look at her?
Oh God, yes, sure.
All right, so here she is. She's talking in the bathtub. She's talking about the virus,
Yeah.
the great equalizer. Let's listen to Let's listen to Madonna.
That's the thing about COVID-19. It doesn't care about how rich you are, how famous you are, how funny you are, how smart you are, where you live, how old you are, what amazing stories you can tell. It's the great equalizer. And what's terrible about it is what's great about it. What's terrible about it is it's made us all equal in many ways. And what's wonderful about it is that it's made us all equal in many ways. Like I used to say at the end of the night, we're all in the same boat. And if the ship goes down, we're all going down together.
There she is.
She is so far removed from reality.
Yeah, if we go down, if she goes down, everybody goes down.
I mean, she's literally in a bathtub with rose petals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are people that literally are opening an empty refrigerator right now.
I'm kind of confused now. I mean, she's supposed to be super rich. That's kind of a small bathtub, don't you think?
Well, that's probably her guest bathroom. She didn't want to appear too foofy. I can imagine.
Okay, maybe you're right.
Unreal, man. And you know what? They really are. There's a lot of Twitter posts from these Hollywood elite types that are like, they're upset that Instacart isn't filling their order. I can't believe they're out of cranberries. This is ridiculous. I mean, they are so far out of normal, everyday, routine life that they don't even realize that they sound that pompous. They have no clue.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know they're 3 days out now, for delivery, if not 4.
And I'm sure Madonna is still waiting on her smoked Gouda. But I mean, guess what? I mean, this is reality.
Right. Oh boy. So I don't know if we went over the curve. Let's look at the curve real quick again. This is for the virus curve. Look at the United States right up there on that curve.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good. Now China flatline only because they started to lie about right here where U.S. is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And they got Italy following the curve. So anyway, so I don't know what's going on with these other countries, why they're flatlining. I don't know if they have only the S strain or not. But if they get the L, they're toast.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, you know that France went total lockdown. You know, for a solid week. As soon as they had, I think they had 100 cases.
Mm-hmm.
So France just shut everything down. Everything that wasn't a hospital, I think, or a food like a food outlet, they call it. They don't even have like food stores. They call them food outlets, but restaurants weren't even open.
All right. Well, it's tough to do it here. I mean, we have 50 states or like 50 different countries.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a mospog of countries and states, and they have their own laws, and that's hard to do here. We're not a dictatorship like other countries are, like China, to lock down everything in 1 second. But speaking of dictators, we have Vladimir Putin here on doing a hazmat suit, seeing patients with the virus, with the Chinese virus.
Yeah, they only have a few, not too many.
Not too many, but he's checking on them. So let's take a look.
We will make sure no virus touches you, Vladimir. You are the best suit in the whole of Russia.
He's going to be president forever.
He is. He's not leaving. He's not. He's absolutely not leaving.
They're putting Lysol on him. Look.
Yeah, they're pre-Lysoling him. Oh wow.
Yeah.
This has all the makings of a movie. What if somebody pre-coated his mask with coronavirus? You know what I mean?
They might have. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we'd be reading about it, because I'm diabolical, and I probably should have been a movie writer, but that's exactly what I would do, if I wanted to get rid of him.
Well, this is going to be a great movie, this whole thing.
Oh, without a doubt. When this is all said and done, and the truth comes out about the Chinese, I mean...
The Chinese, the Wuhan laboratory, everything else.
Yeah.
Jeez. But anyway, so we have also the stock market here went up big time today.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. So let's bring it down here. Look at this. Looks going down, and then went right back up again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 11% jump. I mean, it would take, another 3 or 4 days of that, and we'd be right back to where it was.
Where we were before. Yep.
The confidence factor improves, and this is based on Congress. Like, these people that invest, they want to know where Congress is on this. Is Carnival Cruise Lines going to go under, or is Marriott going to go under, or are they going to get $90 million that they want? Once you know that, you don't dump your stock, and maybe you buy some back.
Exactly. So let's take a look at Biden's polls, because it normally follows the stock market.
Yeah, right.
It did for
he
a
is
little while.
flatlining.
Yeah, he went down. Now he's flatlining.
Yeah,
but he already won.
But he needs so much help. I mean, once he is the nominee, I can't imagine it's gonna be a keep away from Trump. I mean, Trump is gonna want to confront him on a stage the day after he gets nominated, because every single week that goes by, he loses more of his cognitive ability. Right. And he has less chance of standing up against Trump.
Yeah, he's going to be crushed. I mean, we have a video of him talking about the Chinese virus, and it's not good.
Every time he speaks, it's not good. Yeah. It's not good for him. It's a win for Trump, but...
Yeah, I mean, what if he was president now? I mean, he would just be... I don't know. It would be crazy. Let's take a look.
Like a puppet master scenario where, other people, like Weekend at Bernie's, like...
Yeah, prop him up.
Yeah.
Right. Talk for him like a little puppet.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this video. I mean, it's pretty sad, but let's take a look at it. Here we go.
Reserve Corps of doctors and nurses and beef up the number of responders dealing with these crush of cases. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. Well, let me go to the second thing. I've spoken enough of that. The president must use the Defense Production Act to radically increase the supply of critical goods needed to treat patients and protect our healthcare workers and first responders.
You can't make that up.
No.
It's almost like, in the old days, I heard Mark Levin talking about, the old way that presidential campaigns went. You kind of hung on the back of a train caboose and you rolled into town and you had 10 minutes to win those people over. And you had to be the most accurate, smart, savvy person to win. That train was leaving. It was going to the next town.
Right.
Biden, without these teams of handlers and all the people that prop him up, he's literally like the guy who wanders around the mall. I mean, he's not presidential at all.
Definitely. I think he definitely has dementia. I don't know what he has, but something's going on. He's going to have to, pick Hillary as the vice president so she can just step in.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I can honestly see that happening. It's probably already in the works.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have another person that's on this video that we're talking about the stimulus. I know we're going back and forth, but the stimulus, the Chinese virus is all about what's going on nowadays. So let's take a look at what he says, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, you want proof that it's never been about Donald Trump? Donald Trump's never been racist. It's never been about Donald Trump being wrong for the country. Just look what the Democrats in the Senate just did. They blocked the bill, $1.8 trillion, I believe, and that bill would have helped all Americans, every last one of us. This stimulus package would have helped every last one of us. But the Democrats don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about helping Americans. They don't give a fuck about what race you are. They don't care about what LBGT, whatever community you belong to. They care about power. All of this shit is about power. All of the media hysteria is about power. Control and power, control and power. Every day that an American dies, suffers, or finds themselves hungry, you thank the damn Democrats for it, because that's what the fuck they've been doing. Fucking up public trust, fucking up the economy, and blaming this shit on Trump like it's his fault when it's fucking them. Be aware, man.
Should we beep that out?
Yeah, well, it's I don't know. edit that guy, but honestly, that is what scares the death out of Democrats, because that is a guy that they think they have in their pocket that he knows. Like, that guy's fully aware of the magic, the smoke and mirrors that the Democrats been pulling over. And, that guy goes on Facebook Live. Maybe he gets reposted 1 million times or whatever. He's viral on Twitter right now.
Yeah, he knows.
That is the guy that scares Democrats. It's not guys like me and you.
No.
They already know where we stand.
Right.
But they look at that guy and they think they know where he stands. And he obviously does not.
Yeah, they stand with us. So, anyway, so that's the show tonight. Do you have any last words, Bill, after you just went off for another 2 minutes?
No, I mean, I could go off at any given, but I just hope, for the best position this country can be in. COVID-19 or COV2 or whatever, it's not going to go away. It's just going to become another one of those strains that comes out every season. So one way or another, whether it's herd immunity or some kind of vaccine or something like that, something's got to happen. But it's going to be longer than 15 days or Easter, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just going to go on for months. It's going to keep on coming back. I hope they find a vaccine sooner than later, so we don't have to worry about this thing. But we will have to get back to the economy, or it's going to crash and it's cause even more trouble. Yeah.
And businesses are going to have to find a way to operate with little or least amount of human contact for probably the foreseeable future going into September, October. That's my prediction.
Right. I agree. Have people work from home still, and then least, human action, like you said, and maybe do social distancing at restaurants and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, they're having restaurants that are petitioning to be allowed to be open. They're outside dining with partitions between the tables. So, certain like you said, every state's a different country basically, and states like Arkansas, they can do what Arkansas wants. If that works for them, that works for them. But guess what? Those restaurants are going to start selling food again, and that's what they really want to do. They'll do whatever they have to.
Right. Well, we appreciate you watching the show tonight. Please subscribe to our show. Love to have you keep on coming back over and over again. And I thank you for watching, and you have a wonderful night.
Like and subscribe.